Afternoon, Sainters. Hope you're all having a great week so far. Welcome to the Round 14 preview. Another milestone to stuff up, hopefully. Last week was Buddy Franklin's 350th. We got the chocolates. And this week, it's Trent Cotchin's 300th at the MCG in front of the Richmond faithful. Another very difficult game for our boys. But one that, we can really sink our teeth into. Obviously, Richmond coming off the back of a couple of, I wouldn't say impressive wins, but, just really hard-nosed wins. And that's what Richmond do. They beat GWS Giants in the last minute of the game. A couple of weeks ago, Marlon Pickett kicked the winner on his left foot on the run in a very high-scoring game. Both teams kicking over 100 points. And then last week, they started very, very nicely against Fremantle in Perth. Freo rallied late in the game and got within a goal, and the Tigers saw it out and they won by 15 points. But prior to that, they'd lost to Port, they'd lost to Essendon, both in very close games, and then had beaten Geelong. Their form's been similar to ours. They've won 3 of their last 5. We've won 3 of our last 5. We have not lost consecutive games, but we haven't won consecutive games for well over a month now. So I think that's kind of the key thing out of this is, last week's form was really, really good. Obviously, the first half wasn't the best for the neutrals, but it was evident that Saints footy was present for 4 quarters, and we haven't been able to say that for probably a good month or so. So that bodes well for this game. Our youngsters really led from the front. And although Richmond are Richmond and on their day are very good, they are currently in 12th. So they're 5 wins, 1 draw, 7 losses. We obviously 8 wins and 4 losses in 5th, with a big opportunity this week in particular to sink our teeth into a top 4 chance. And then we've got Brisbane on the Friday night. So for Richmond, I think it's obvious what Richmond love to do. Their identity is not changed all that much. Obviously, Damien Hardwick is gone, and they've got Andrew McQualter, who's been, talked up as probably a chance to actually take the main gig. When you talk about Richmond and how to beat Richmond, I personally think that it doesn't get much bigger than Tim Taranto and his form at the moment. And, you're looking at some of his numbers. I'll just quickly go over his stats, but they've been berserk like his last couple of weeks. Like he's averaging just under a goal a game, basically a goal a game, 32 disposals a game, 7 tackles, 4 marks, and 7 clearances per game on top of 406 metres gained on average. He's the number 1 ranked player in the AFL. Ranked player, for both teams combined. The next is Rowan Marshall. Tim Taranto's quite far ahead in his stats and in his numbers the last month. He's been unreal for them and really catapulted them into, a chance of getting back into that finals race. A couple of weeks ago, they looked gone, and now they've, off the back of 2 very tough wins, are a chance to keep climbing the ladder. Richmond, we cannot take lightly. This is a very tough game for our boys. Tim Taranto is obviously the player I think we need to stop, and whether we go with a tag, maybe a Marcus Winhager could go for a tag there. I think that'd be quite important. We cannot let him get his 32 and kick a couple of goals a game, because that's game-changing shit, and we can't allow that. Rowan Marshall's going to have his hands full with Toby Nankervis. Nankervis, we talked about this on the podcast, but he's probably one of the rare ruckmen that just has seemingly gotten on top of Rowe in the last couple of times that we've played them. He's averaging, his stats are pretty much identical to Rowe's this year, to the point where Rowe had 50 hitouts last week and Nankervis had 49 and was one of the best players on the ground in their win in the West. So he is a big one for us. At either end of the ground, I think we've got them pretty covered. Obviously, no Tom Lynch, and I think our backmen should be able to cover Samson and Rewalt. I think Samson in particular is not really getting his hands on the ball too much. He's averaging, about a goal a game and not even 7 disposals per game. So quiet numbers there on his part. So you probably wonder if maybe a Dukes goes to him, matches his height. And then obviously you've got, Jack Rewalt and Cal Wilkie. Because in their game last week, I don't think they set their house on fire in the forward line. I think their mids really led from the front. Jaden Short kicked 3. Tim Taranto kicked 2, so that's 5 goals already. And then Jack Riot kicked 2. Jack Ross, Nankervis, Mansell, Judson Clark, Shai Bolton. So there you go. Not a lot of their goals came from their forward line. It was very much their midfield. Jaden Short's, he's been in good form the last couple of seasons, but he's one to keep an eye on. They're putting him through the midfield a lot more lately. Obviously a star half-back flanker, but goes through the midfield very much like Sinclair. Gets a lot of the ball, uses it well, kicks goals. So very dangerous player. Their smalls are kind of that's the area that Richmond get teams. Obviously they've got Shai Bolton, they've got Jack Ross. Who else we got? Daniel Rioli, Prestia, Vlostone, obviously Dustin Martin, obviously isn't a small, but he's starting to get going again. Jack Graham, Cochin, obviously, he's been put back into the midfield and doing very nicely there. 28, I think he got last week, which is, big numbers for him because he's been very down on that. And Liam Baker is a very good ball user as well. So it's going to be a tough one for us Saints, particularly because it is Cochin's 300th, but we've proved last week that didn't matter. We can overcome those opposition milestones and focus on our own game. And I think if we do, particularly down forward, I don't see much of a matchup for Max King. Obviously, you've got Caminiti and then Mitch Owens, who's a very, very special player. And there's not many players in the AFL, I think, that match up on Mitch Owens in the air and at ground level. They might do one or the other, but I don't see them doing both. So I think that's going to be a big, big telling point in this game. Obviously, Richmond's backline isn't great one-on-one. I think they work very well as a collective when you allow them to kind of work off each other and support each other. Obviously, Vlostone, you've got, or Vloston, however you like to pronounce it. Noah Bolter, I think, is another one. He's underrated, but he's a big body, takes a lot of marks, but he loves to zone off and then support someone like a Grimes, Nathan Broad. But if you isolate them, I really do think we can get them. Max King has been very good against Richmond in the last couple of times he's played them. Last year is no exception. He kicked 4 or 5 goals, and 4 of them were basically in the last 30 minutes of the game when he went berserk. And then obviously Caminiti and Owens offer that physicality in the air, but obviously at ground level. And Filippo and Butler in form gets to play as well. Got off his stupid one-match suspension. Challenged it yesterday. We got off. Common sense prevails. And then obviously Jack Higgins playing against his old side as well as Butler is going to want to have a good one at the G. And we play well at the G. We just need to weather that storm early. I think they're going to come out with a lot of energy because of Cochin being at the MCG as well after the last couple of weeks. So I think they're wanting to get going, and this is a sort of game that can get them going. But for us, I think it's about being really mature about it, just playing Saints footy. And I think if we do play Saints footy like we did last week, lay 80 tackles again, pressure's high, convert when we get our chances, I think we'll eventually get over the top of the Tigers. But I don't see it being a comfortable win from start to finish. I think it's going to be one of the games of the round to me. I think both teams have a lot of weapons in their own way and they're quite unique. But I think at the end of the day, I think we're just in better form than them. We're playing better football than them. We're 5th, they're 12th. We haven't seen their absolute best all season. Hopefully not on Saturday night. I think we can salvage something and come out with hopefully like a 3-goal win, I really think. 3 goals would be comfortable. But at the end of the day, I'll take a bloody 1-point win. It doesn't really matter. Let's go to 9-4, and then we go into Spud's game full of momentum. But I think we just need to get on that little bit of a run. We've got a big month coming up. Obviously, the second half of the season's very, very important for us. After our start to the season, we want to finish strong and make finals, and we've got to beat teams around us and that teams that think that they can catch us, and Richmond's one of those teams. So let's just go there, play Saints footy, play tough, and I think we can get them going the other way. They're good going forward. They push a lot of numbers to the ball, and obviously they play that very Richmond style, which is just a lot of numbers around the contest. But I think for us, we can beat them in the contest, and I think our outside game is better than their outside game. So let's get it on the outside, run, isolate Max King, and I think we'll get the job done. So I'll leave it there, saying as fairly upbeat preview, which I think you'd expect after last week's performance. I I am really excited about this game. I'm really disappointed I won't be there. I'll be in New South Wales, so I'll be watching it in the comfort of my Airbnb with a glass of red. But hopefully the boys can lift, have a big one, spoil Cochin's 300th, and go to 9-4 and march on another game closer to hopefully securing a top 8 spot. So I'll leave it there, Sainers. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment your thoughts. Let me know how you're feeling. Subscribe. Let's get to 7,000 subscribers very soon. And bring on Saturday night. Can't wait. And as always, Sainers, take care and go you mighty Sainers. See you after the game on Saturday.